Enjoy that first set? I know I did. But you know, tonight we're not just here to have fun, because tonight we're marking what we hope will become an annual event. Yes, tonight is the first annual Help Jerry's Kids Halloween Closed-Circuit-a-thon. Now, Jerry's Kids are those among us who have dedicated their lives to following the Grateful Dead. Now, we're going to be passing out this Jerry's Kids canister among you tonight here at Radio City and at each one of our closed-circuit locations. And we'll be keeping track of our progress on our map here and our tote board. And I know after you hear about, well, this year's poster child, you'll want to give till it hurts.
This is Tim Mankey, this year's poster child for Jerry's Kids. Tim, originally from Asbury Park, New Jersey, has been a deadhead for 10 years. He's taken lots of acid and has spent untold hours waiting in line to see his favorite group in the whole world. This summer, it took Tim 10 days to hitchhike to Alaska, and he didn't even get into all the concerts. But it takes more than time to follow the dead. It takes all of Tim's hard-earned money. Well, it takes all of Tim's money. After all, you can't hitchhike to Egypt, even though he tried. Then in September, at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Tim broke his arm falling out of the balcony, landing on several other of Jerry's kids. But Tim doesn't want your sympathy. Tim wants money so that he can get in tomorrow night. Please give generously to Jerry's Kids. Thank you.
Quite a guy. Well, I'm sitting here with Jerry Garcia. Jerry, just how important is this Jerry's Kids project to you?
Well, Al, apart from polo and breeding Arabian horses, it's the most important thing in my life. In fact, I have a special prize for the person who donates the most money.
Well, what is that prize, Jerry?
Well, you probably know that I lost a finger when I was young, and I've kept it on ice all these years, and I've got it right here in this box. Would you like to take a look at it?
I think we all would.
Yeah.
Can we get a shot of that? There it is. Jerry Garcia's finger that he's kept in ice since he was 12. I think that tells you just how important this project is to you, Jerry.
Definitely.
Yeah. Jerry, while I've got you here, I just want to ask you one question. Who is the nicest guy in the Grateful Dead?
Phil, no question.
Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jerry.
You're welcome. Thank you, Al.
Thank you, Jerry. And now we're going to go to Tom, who I believe is backstage with a member of the crew. You got a story there, Tom?
Well, Al, okay, Al, well, while we're waiting for the Grateful Dead to start their second set, maybe we should take this opportunity to examine some of the sidelights of the Grateful Dead, maybe meet some of the people who make the whole show possible. So at this time, why don't we meet the backstage hand and troubleshooter, Steve Parrish. Steve, come on out here.
Hey, hi, Tom. How you doing tonight?
Real good, Steve. You know, I imagine that among your many responsibilities, you probably have to make sure that this backstage area doesn't become too clogged with admirers. Now, Steve, suppose I were a fan who got backstage here somehow. Perhaps I've hopped up on some drug, maybe I've tipped over some amplifier. How do you deal with me?
Well, Tom, I'm glad you asked me that, because that's a pretty delicate situation we have there, you know. And to do this job, you've got to be a part psychologist. And we found that people always respond to different stimuli, each one in their own individual way. There's one thing that seems to work for everybody, though. That's something we found out, and it works.
Well, what is that, Steve?
Well, my job is handling the equipment. I'm going to need my help, my friend Jeff, right over here to explain this to you, okay?
Okay.
How you doing?
Hi, Jeff?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Jeff.
What we do is I'd ask Jeff to kind of grab you by the back of your collar right there, real gentle-like, you know, like a mother cat, maybe holding a kitten. Reach under here and grab your belt, you see, kind of lift you up a little bit off the stage, you know, get the feel, and then kind of get a big swing going, you know what I mean, a big swing, and throw you right out of harm's way.
Tom? It seems that Tom's equipment, or Tom has allowed his equipment to become unplugged. And anyway, I have been informed that there are people taking drugs at several of our locations. And the Grateful Dead have asked that we give you this test to determine whether you're too high to remain in the theater. Now, listen carefully and answer each question. Let's roll that right now. See if they're not too high in the video truck.
Which line is longer, A or B? Do you see the faces or the vase? Can you find the toothbrush in this picture? Is A shorter than B, or is B longer than A?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, proceed immediately to a hospital and sit in the emergency room for at least 6 hours. Now, I'm here at the map, as you can see. Now, each city has each closed circuit location has a light bulb by it, and to light up your bulb, all you have to do is surpass last year's total. And since there was no total last year, all any city has to do is give any money at all to Jerry's Kids, and we'll see your bulb light up. And remember that the person who gives the most money will win Jerry Garcia's finger. Don't forget that. And also, don't forget that there's going to be a Halloween costume contest at each one of the closed circuit locations, and the winner will be flown to San Francisco with a guest for the Grateful Dead's New Year's Eve concert. That should be a lot of fun. Now, as a special feature, we're going to be having a Grateful Dead trivia quiz. Now, Tom will be asking the questions of the finalists of the National Grateful Dead Trivia Contest, which was held earlier this year in Asbury Park, New Jersey. The finalists are here at Radio City, and we'll let you play along with them. The first question is, who dosed Jack Kennedy? Tom?
Okay, Al, I'm here with Ron Labo from West Hampton, Long Island. Ron, West Hampstead, right? Okay. Ron, are you a deadhead?
Sure I am.
How many years you been a deadhead?
10 years.
Not bad, Ron. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. If you get the answer right, you get a prize, okay?
I can dig it.
Okay, your question is, who dosed Jack Kennedy?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Don, what do we have for our winner over here? Oh boy, Ron, you get a Marvel frozen prime young turkey, and enjoy that turkey. But please don't take it into the balcony. The fire marshal won't permit us to bring frozen turkeys into the balcony. Thanks a lot, Ron.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'll send it back to you as our first contestant, and he was right. He was another winner.
I'm talking with Grateful Dead member Bob Weir. Bob, let's talk about songwriting. You're a prolific composer. Why don't you tell us about the creation of a song? How does it come about?
Well, Al, I just take experiences from my life and transpose them into music.
So in other words, is every song that you've written based on a real-life experience?
That's right.
Okay, how about a song like Mexicali Blues, for example?
Well, that's based on a kind of a decadent little binge I had in Mexico a few years back. Transposes to E. And then it sort of ends up on a C minor.
Gedek Minor.
The girl's name.
The girl in the song, Gedek Minor?
She was Czechoslovakian. We had a wonderful night in Prague, and then the next day the Soviet tanks rolled in, and you know they're in the Looks Like Rain business.
So in other words, the song Looks Like Rain was...
It was about the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia.
Amazing, fascinating. There you have it. Looks Like Rain is about the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia. Now, Bob, I got to ask you a question. This is just my personal taste, but I just happen to think Kingfish was better than anything the Grateful Dead ever did. Why don't you leave the group?
It's not like you can just leave the group. I mean,
what do you mean?
Well, knowing what I know, you don't expect that they're just going to let me walk away.
Al, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a rare opportunity that I can't pass up. We've been talking to a lot of Deadheads tonight, but the Deadhead I'm going to introduce right now I'm very excited about. He's someone that you might not expect to see here, but he is in fact a very big Grateful Dead fan.
It was 1970 Fillmore East, and of course Ripple is a favorite of mine and Nancy's. We have a bootleg tape that we like to turn up to maximum volume and make love to when I come home from a long trip.
Well, that's very interesting, Dr. Kissinger. Let me ask you, do you know the Grateful Dead personally?
Well, I've been a big fan of theirs for years, and I finally got to meet them at Watkins Glen. And let me say that meeting Jerry was a great experience. The only thing I can really compare it to was when I went to China and met Mao. I don't agree with all of Jerry's philosophies, but he's definitely a 20th century heavyweight, as am I.
Well, Dr. Kissinger, I hate to ask serious questions on such a festive occasion.
Well, you got me here. I don't blame you.
Well, thank you very much. Looking back, Dr. Kissinger, what would you say was the high point of your tenure as Secretary of State for the United States?
Well, Tom, I would have to say that it was 1973 when I won the Nobel Prize for ending the Vietnam War.
And what would you say was the low point?
1975 when the Vietnam War ended.
Okay, well, I guess that's the story backstage here for right now. Al, we'll take it back to you.
Thank you, Tom. We have a drug warning. There has been some bad cocaine going around, and here it is. It's not actually cocaine. We've done some tests on it because people have been getting sick. This isn't cocaine. It's crushed mothballs and crushed glass. So if someone offers you some cocaine, at least smell it first. If it smells like mothballs, don't snort it. It'll just get you sick. Okay, now as an update on Jerry's Kids, we've been passing the Jerry's Kids canisters to every location, and we're only ahead in one place, Upper Darby, near Philadelphia there. And they have $67 in their canister there. Now, subtracting the $50 that we put in each canister to kind of get the ball rolling, to prime the pump, they're $17 ahead in Upper Darby. Let's keep that flashing there, because they are ahead now. And everywhere else, let's keep that Upper Darby flashing. There we go. Now, everywhere else, we seem to be losing money. People evidently are actually taking money out of the canister. And so evidently there are, I guess, more Jerry's Kids out there than people who actually have money. But anyway, our total now is minus $437. But remember, the person who gives the most money will win Jerry Garcia's finger. Don't forget that. Okay. I think Tom is now ready with the next trivia question. And for those of you who want to play along, the question is, during the 60s, Jerry Garcia was known as Captain Trips. Who was known as Colonel Cunnilingus? Tom?
All right, Al. I'm here with Kim Donch from Stanford, Connecticut. Kim, how many Grateful Dead concerts have you been to?
16.
16, not bad. You're getting up there. Okay, Kim, I'm going to ask you a question, and if you answer it correctly, we have a prize for you. Okay, Kim, during the 60s, Jerry Garcia was known as Captain Trips.
Right.
Who was known as Colonel Cunnilingus?
Phil Esch.
Phil Esch. Well, I guess that was an easy one. Okay, Don, what do we have for Kim? Oh, Kim, you get a dinner for two at Trader Vic's, liquor not included, unfortunately, but...
Where is it?
Trader Vic's is right next to the Plaza Hotel. I hope you bring a friend and have a good day.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kim.
Everybody enjoy the...
And that's our second contestant for tonight. Al, I guess we'll send it back to you.
Atonal jazz, but... Oh, hi. We're with Brent Midland, the keyboard player for the Grateful Dead. Brent, I suppose you get tired of being asked what it's like to be the new member of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I'm getting real burned out on the new guy image.
Yeah. So, Brent, what's it like being the new member of the Grateful Dead?
A lot of people asking me what it's like being in the Grateful Dead.
Well, Brent, was there any initiation you had to go through?
They locked me in a room for 14 days with a strobe light.
Good thing you weren't an epileptic. Now, has there been any member of the band who's been a particular prick to you?
Actually, Weir has. He keeps snapping me with a towel in the locker room.
Ouch. Well, who's been the nicest guy?
Definitely Phil.
Phil, huh? Okay, now, Brent, did you have any problems learning any of the Dead's tunes?
No, actually, I picked them up pretty easy. I have had a problem with one tune.
Now, what's that?
St. Stephen.
St. Stephen? That's odd. It doesn't seem like a particularly complex tune. I'm not a musician, but why don't you Why don't you play it for us?
Wouldn't you rather hear Far From Me or Easy to Love You?
Well, no, we haven't really heard St. Stephen for a while, so why don't you...
That's because I can't play it.
Well, why don't you just give it a shot for us, huh?
You asked for it.
Okay. St. Stephen.
Shit. Fuck.
Well, how about this note?
Won't work.
Why don't you just give it a try, Brandon? Just give it a try.
If you really want me to.
Yeah. Try that note.
Told you.
Well, while Brent tries to figure St. Stephen out, let's go back to you, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Al. So you can see, we're on the stage here, and standing next to me, this is Mr. Dick Atwood. He is from the Brunswick Bowling Corporation of Akron, Ohio, or not Brunswick, pardon me, but from the Brunswick, not to be confused with it. It's the Brunswick Bowling Corporation from Akron, Ohio, and he has a presentation to make.
Tom, we at Brunswick Bowling Corporation are proud to present this check in the amount of $1,138.00 for Jerry's kids.
That's wonderful, Dick. How did you raise all this money?
Well, Tom, we had Grateful Dead nights at all of our bowling alleys in Akron and at 12 other locations in Ohio and Indiana. Now, we piped in Grateful Dead music while the kids were bowling, and we asked them to donate the deposit on their shoes. Now, that's 3,000 kids at 35 cents each.
Isn't that wonderful? Let's have a hand for the Brunswick people.
We love Jerry's kids.
Well,
we
so
think
do
they're
we.
great.
And I understand this isn't all, Dick.
That's right, Tom. I'll be back at the end of this break and after the first electronic set with a check from the Brunswick Bowling Corporation matching the sum, no matter how large, donated by these young people in our audience tonight. So come on, let's give it to Jerry's kids.
Thank you, Dick. We'll be looking forward to that, and I will send it back to Al.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom, and thanks to the Brunswick Bowling Corporation. That concludes our part of covering this entertainment during the break. And the Dead will be back hopefully real soon. I don't know why they take such long breaks, but I'm ready for some music. How about you? Okay, they'll be back soon. Well, Tom, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but there's nothing to report back here, and you're out there with all the people. Why don't you talk to Steve Parrish again?
Oh, geez, Al, we covered that story. Why don't you roll the thing that we pre-taped with Bill and Mickey, the drum thing?
The one with the, well, okay, if I guess that's why we taped it. Right now we have a taped interview with Bill and Mickey, the drummers, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to roll that now. Let's see that. Wow. I'm sorry, Tom, but there's nothing to report back here. Why don't you ask Steve what he'd do if his chainsaw ran out of gas?
Did you hear that question, Steve?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Tom, someone help Tom. Get Steve Parrish or his colleague. Someone get Tom off the stage. He could hurt himself. Tom, come back to me, Tom. Tom. Oh no, he's gonna hurt himself. Tom. Don't. Someone get him. Come over to go.